Friends, hi, hello, how are you? Are we ready to cook this week's meal plan? I know I am. Let's do it. All right, we are starting the week off with some Mexican street corn chicken in the oven. So we have our chicken breasts. These were two breasts that I did fillet open to make them even. They were not even, but it worked. So we're going to season them on both sides with salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic powder. And then we are going to lay them in a greased 9x9 pan. Then for the topping, it is 2 cans of sweet corn, a 1/4 cup of sour cream, and a 1/4 cup of mayo. We then are going to put in a zhuzh of lime juice, and I over zhuzhed, so do less than what I did because probably should have stopped at 2 squirts, and I went with 3. Then we are going to dump in some chile powder. And yes, I bought the giant chili powder that I will not need all of, so it'll last me forever. And then we're just going to mix all of that up. This one's an easy one. Dump it over the top. And you just want to get it into a thin, even layer. I believe by following this recipe, it should have more chicken and should have more space because there was a thick layer of corn, like the corn mixture on top, but it still turned out really good. It was nice and hot and bubbly. And then we just crumbled some queso fresco over the top and served it with a side of watermelon. I did get a little bit fancy and put some more chili powder on top because it just made it look real pretty. My dear husband was like, is it supposed to have that? And I said, no, I just wanted mine to look pretty. So it was so good. Then we're jumping to one of my favorite recipes this week, which was a slow cooker pineapple pork loin pulled pork tacos, basically. So we're going to do a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, some pepper, some salt. We're going to do some garlic powder. And as always, recipes will be linked down below. With my spices, I just eyeball it. And then we're going to do 2 tablespoons of this apricot preserve, which that stuff is sticky and takes forever to get out of the spoon. We're also going to take a can of pineapple chunks and drain all of the liquid, or as much as we can, into this lovely mixture. And then we are going to just stir all of this. Oh, just kidding. Would it be a recipe that's Courtney cooking without garlic? I don't think so. Mix all that up. We're then going to stick our pork loin into the crock pot. But here, watch now as I fight with a package. Now, mind you, while I'm fighting with this package, my kitchen shears are literally 2 inches from me. And it takes me a solid 1.5 minutes before I grab them to assist. Someone take my kitchen shears away. Or give them back. Whatever. They were right there. Anyway, we're going to dump our pineapple on, and then we're going to take our lovely little mixture, and we are going to dump that over the top. And then we're going to let this bad boy sit low and slow for about 8-ish hours. I think the recipe says anywhere from 6 to 7 hours. I did it till about 7 hours. And then once it was almost done cooking, I pulled off the top, plugged in my handy dandy hand mixer, and we just went to town. This is the best way to shred meat. So once it's all shredded up, I did let it sit and cook a little bit longer. Now we're going to make the sauce. So I did have a fresh pineapple that I had cut up. I was planning on using it for the whole recipe, but then I just changed my mind because I needed the juice and blah, blah, blah. You're also supposed to have 3/4 cup of ketchup. Well, I did not plan accordingly. Thought I had ketchup in my pantry. Did not. So I had a tablespoon of ketchup. So we just substituted with the end of this bottle of barbecue sauce, which also ran out. So we had about 3/4 cup of sauce that we're going to dump on top of that pineapple. Then we are going to go in, obviously scrape out the bottom of the thing, with 2 tablespoons, just kidding, we need 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, and then equal parts of the apricot preserve again. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons of that. This stuff is sticky. It does not like to come out of the tablespoon. And then we're going to go in with some white wine vinegar, and we did 2 tablespoons of that, and then a tablespoon, just kidding, 1 tablespoon of each of these. A tablespoon of white wine vinegar, a tablespoon of lime juice. Who am I kidding? Read the recipe. I'm wrong. I've got those 2 backwards. Anyway, this is my first time ever using my immersion blender. I had way too much fun. I asked for this for Christmas one year and I haven't used it until today, but basically it does say to use like a food processor. I just use this because I didn't want to dig out my food processor, but it turned out great. We just got some little street taco shells, put on our meat, put on our sauce, add in some queso fresca and some green onions, and when I tell you this one was bomb.com, it was so good. Even the kids ate. They don't eat it as tacos, but they did eat the meat and loved it. So yes, definitely for your next Taco Tuesday. And I apologize, I forgot to do my pickled onions and radishes next time. Gotta love that sizzle. So we are going to be making bacon cheeseburger sliders. So we're going to take our pan with a little bit of that bacon grease still left over, add in our onions and our ground beef that tried to yeet itself out of the pan. Easy killer. And we are just going to cook these down and brown up our burger. While that's cooking, we are going to split our slider buns in down the center. I struggled because these are fresh, so they were a little more soft and squishy and a little more challenging to cut. But once we get them cut in half, one side note, I wish I would have cut them a little bit farther down, but regardless, it worked out fine. We're going to layer some cheese on, and while the oven is preheating at 350, we're going to let that cheese melt for 5 minutes. Add in your garlic. And mix all that in along with our can of diced red tomatoes with Italian herbs and garlic. And then we're going to add in a tablespoon-ish of Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to do another tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and we are going to mix all of that together. What you don't see here is that I do add garlic salt, and I did add pepper, but my timer went off, so it did cut that piece out. So melty cheese. In the meantime, we're going to make the sauce that tops this. So we did a full stick of butter, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, which I'm at the end of this bottle too. I'm just cleaning out all the bottles in my fridge. And then just wait, because this one ends at 2. This calls for 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. So I just ended up using the rest of my bottle on there. And we're just going to mix that up real nice like. A whisk does work best. And then we're going to layer on our burger mixture, follow that up with 1-inch pieces of our bacon. The recipe calls for 1 slice of bacon at 1 inch. Not in this house. We are going to do 2. We're going to top that with some cheese, top with the buns, top it with the topping, 350 for about 30 minutes. And holy smokes, these are good. I even got the stamp of approval from my brother who is visiting. So yes, and both my toddlers did eat these. We did serve this with our broccoli salad. Promise, I did make the recipe. I did film it. And a summer salad recipe series is coming. I promise. And for our final meal of the week, this is a smaller version because I did fix it for lunch instead of a dinner, because one of our dinners this week we got invited out with friends. I didn't have to cook, which was great. And I also didn't have to pay, so that was even better. So once that's heating up, we are going to take some of our sauce from Tuesday as well and just put that over the top and let that really get nice and warmed up. Please excuse the pan in the background. I am just drying that one out after washing my large cast iron from the other night. We're going to move our small cast iron to the back burner, try not to light the kitchen towel on fire, and we're going to put our big burner in. We're going to put some butter in there and let it get nice and melty, and then we're going to place in our tortilla, put in our pork and some cheese. Apparently I dropped the footage from that. And then here's a nice, beautiful flip. Listen to the sizzle. Ain't she pretty? So yes, that was my lunch for the day. I hope you guys did enjoy this week's Cook With Me. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, remember to spread kindness like glitter. Bye, guys.